Good evening, tubers. Matt M. Roy back once again. Wow, I still can't do anything with this hair. It's driving me crazy. Where do I even begin today? Been a very, very long, hectic day. I am very tired, so I do not think this is going to be a super long live stream, but I did want to get some information out there to everybody. By now, most of you probably know that I have sold the PT Cruiser. It just wasn't the right vehicle for me. I'm not going to get into too many details, but suffice to say, it just wasn't going to work out. So that has actually been sold, and I'm shocked at how fast it did sell. The PT Cruiser sold pretty much overnight. I listed it probably around 3 p.m. and I sold it the following morning around 11 a.m. So it wasn't even 24 hours. And I had gotten tons and tons and tons of messages about it. The consensus through all of them was for a certain price. At the end, that's what I accepted. I did not lose money. I really didn't make money. I kind of broke even. So, you know what? That's okay. Moving on. So today, Dad and I went down to initially look at a 2004 Lincoln Town Car Ultimate. And I was really hopeful that that was going to be the right vehicle. But unfortunately, it wasn't that great when we went there. The first thing I noticed was that the hood, all of the paint on the hood was oxidized and it was getting down to the primer, which, of course, they didn't show that in the end because they never do. Second, the check engine light was blinking, which usually means that there is a problem imminent. In other words, the problem is actually occurring. And I went in and I started to rev up the engine, and I immediately heard a miss. Because, you know, when you push down the gas and you hear, pop, 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 it was very apparent that there was a miss. Now, the miss cleared up a little bit, but there were some other issues. The electric seats did not work. And there was something else. And it had some rust too. I noticed looking around the body, especially around the wheel wells, there was a lot of rust built up. So suffice to say, that was not the right one for us. So moving on, we actually went to a thrift store there. And on the way out, Dad said, look, we're already down here. Let's go see if we can find any other vehicles. So that's what we did. We popped the phone out, went on Craigslist, went on Facebook virtual yard sale, and found two cars, both Buick LeSabres. The first one, I had to message the person because they didn't answer right away, but the second person did. So we went and saw that. That one was a 2001 Buick LeSabre with 140,000 miles, advertised, it was silver, the custom, advertised as everything being good. When we got there, this is the funny part. It was advertised in the owners only section of Craigslist, but it was at a tire shop. So I don't know. I think that might have been a gray area. So we got there, and I looked at the car. Initially, it looked good. He did let us know that there was a dent on the right front fender, and it was pretty noticeable. It was a big dent that somebody tried to fix, but I was like, all right, for the price, I could overlook that. So we went in and looked. The first thing that caught my eye in that one was we looked under the hood. We looked in where the coolant overflow was. You could immediately tell that somebody had put stop leak in there because you could actually see the grit from the stop leak. So I'm like, okay, that doesn't look very good. Secondly, the alternator was whining like crazy. As we walked up to it, there was another person looking at it, and from about 100 feet away, you could actually hear the alternator whine. So the alternator was definitely on its way out. It was working at the time. I mean, the battery light wasn't on. The charging system was working properly, but you could tell the alternator would have needed to be replaced. And then the other thing with that is the blend door was not working. In other words, you were getting air conditioning out on one side, the passenger side in that case, and heat out on the other side. So those things, and plus the rear driver's side window did not work. So with all those things combined, we said, okay, that's not the car for us. So They always say third time's a charm. Well, I think in this case that was true for us. So right as we were leaving, the gentleman that I messaged first got back to me and said that it was available and we could go over and take a look at it if we want to. And this was another 2001 Buick LeSabre. In this case, it was a maroon exterior with a gray interior. And for those of you that have been watching my channel for a long time, you guys know that I had one of those. And this one is exactly the same. Went over there, took a look at it. Immediately, I noticed it was in much better shape. This one has 136,000 miles. The other one was advertised as having 140, but actually had closer to 150,000. So I got there. Immediately, I noticed that the paint on this thing is near mint. I mean, there is hardly a blemish on this thing. Open the door. This one, the interior is good. It's not perfect. If I had to be perfectly honest, the first LeSabre probably had a slightly nicer looking interior, but this one is good. The headliner is fine. It has that typical bulge on the dash, but all LeSabres pretty much have that. Started up, ran great. No warning lights. The only thing that was on was the check tire pressure, and I think that was just because one of the tires was a little bit low. It was a very cold day. So we took it for a test drive. This thing ran beautifully. Transmission shifts smooth like butter. The engine ran great. No real creaks or anything. There was a little rattle from the trunk, but we figured out that was a little piece of plastic, which Dad said he can put a screw in there and it'll be fine. So I went back. When we got back, Dad and I talked about it, and we liked it. And I went and looked, because the guy was advertising it for $2,000. And I said, yeah, I'm going to try to bargain him down a little bit. And I had a good bargaining chip, because when I went and looked at it, this was not a 2001. This is a 2000. So I immediately said, okay, I like the car, but there's a few little things that need to be addressed. You know, the tires will need to be replaced in about 10,000 miles and a couple of other little things, but nothing major. So we wound up talking back and forth, and we settled on a price about at the halfway point. So basically around $1,500, which is a good deal for this car. Now, it's not definite yet, because he had to get the title, had to do some things with the title to get it put in his name. Supposed to be meeting this gentleman Monday morning and finalize the deal. Now, if he gets a better offer between that point in time and Monday, then he may sell it out from under me, which is okay. You know what? I'm not in a super rush. I like the car, yes, but there are a lot more out there, believe me. It would be a shame, though, because it is a really nice one, and if I do get it, you guys, I think, will probably agree. But I digress. So that was pretty much my day. I wanted to get that out of the way, let you guys know where everything stands. I know a lot of you probably haven't even heard that I sold the PT Cruiser yet, but that has been sold. So let's go over to the chats and see what everybody's saying. Classic Mobile Home wants to know, did I get a great car? That's yet to be seen. We'll find out Monday if I do wind up getting this car. Eric says, flashing CEL is a misfire. Interesting, because that's exactly what that Lincoln Town car had. I mean, Dad didn't feel it at first because he wasn't sitting in it. He was just listening to me rev it. From the outside, you couldn't hear it, but I could definitely feel it. When I pushed my foot down, you could feel the pop, and then it would rev up. So definitely a misfire. No trucks. I am not going to get a truck, and the main reason is they are way too hard on gas. It's just not going to happen. I need something that's a little bit easier on the fuel economy. Does that look better? I actually think it's better if I do it without that light's kind of drowning my face out. Let's see. Yeah, I look white as a sheet, don't I? Can't even hardly see my teeth. Let's do some lighting here. Hang on. Woo! And I'm back. I think that's actually a little bit better. Mark Covington says, hey, Matt, my 99 Pontiac Grand I'm assuming, has 211,000 miles. Whenever I'll try to start, I keep having to lightly mash on the gas while turning the ignition just to get the car to start. What could be the problem? Well, I'm not a mechanic. With that kind of miles, I would think maybe something with the injectors. You may want to try using one of those fuel additives. I would try an octane booster first, and if that doesn't work, maybe try like a fuel cleaning treatment. But I would probably think it's something with the injectors, especially with that amount of miles on it. Eric said, a nice thing about your area is the ability to find an 18-year-old car that isn't rotted. You are absolutely right. And I looked under this thing. There's hardly any surface rust, let alone rot on this thing. Absolutely amazing. And those of you, Eric, I want your opinion on this too. 2000 Buick LeSabre, 136,000 miles, really nice shape, definitely been kept up. Two-owner vehicle with the Carfax for about $1,600. We're not 100% sure on the price yet. I might be able to get them down a little bit. Let me know what you think. And it does not need anything to right away. I mean, there are little jobs that could be done, but it just passed inspection back in April, and it's ready to go. And this is a car you buy, register, and get on the road. But I would like some feedback from those of you that are a little bit more automotive savvy than I am. Uh-oh, Stephen Barber says he may have to leave early because his Facebook just got hacked. That happened to me a while back. It happened to another friend of mine. Change your password for sure. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, unfortunately, a few people I know, they got hacked so bad they wound up having to make new accounts. Yeah, I think Eric Brunhammer just confirmed that it's probably an injector problem. That much I do know. When you start a fuel-injected vehicle, if you have to mush down on the pedal to keep it running, then generally there's some type of fuel-related problem. But what an interesting day it's been. And, you know, I'm still on the fence a little bit about this. I haven't given any money yet. I haven't. I gave my word that, you know, we shook hands, I should say. And I said I'd be back Monday. But if something doesn't seem right, I could theoretically still back out of the deal. So let me know what you guys really think. Eric said, the engine in that is a tried and true engine. The transmission is usually pretty decent in them. And this one did. This one shifted just fine. I got it up to almost highway speeds, 45, 50 miles an hour. As long as it's been well maintained, which it sounds like it was, sounds like a good deal. And I've been doing some research, and I don't see any negatives about these cars. I was a little concerned, though, because they say you should never buy the first year of a new redesign, and that's what this is. This is a 2000, and 99 was the old design, 2000 was the new one. But the engine is the 3800 Series 2, which is really bulletproof. I mean, that engine is unbelievable. I mean, that people have been known to go 300, 400, 500,000 miles with those engines. Oh, Ruben's asking about garage sales. No, I didn't go to any garage sales today. It's way too cold to have garage sales. Right now, it's in the 30s or high 30s, low 40s. We're not going to see garage sales again until next year sometime. Uh-oh, what is going on here? Having issues with the chat again. Tell you, this YouTube live stream is not perfect, but it's a lot better than it used to be. I have to say that. You think Eric thinks it's the end because he's editing a video. That's funny. Video. Wow, I'm actually hearing myself live. Isn't that absolutely amazing? All right, let's see if that's a little bit better. See if you guys are actually getting better quality. I've had a few people complain that this live stream's been kind of laggy. Shouldn't be on my end. I really don't think it is because my internet has been really good lately. But let's check it. Do a quick speed test with Speakeasy and see what they say. Definitely not on my end. I'm getting 101.8 megabit down, and let's see what we're getting up, because you guys, it would definitely be the upload speed that would be affecting the live stream, that is. Yeah, upload speed is about 60, 70. We're getting up there, 80, 90, 108, 109, okay, download 101.6, upload 111.9. So definitely not an issue here. Might actually be with YouTube. You guys know how that goes sometimes. Not a lot of people. What do you got? 21 watchers, 7 likes. That is totally awesome. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. The reason I do this is for you. I enjoy it too, but I want to make sure you guys get a little something out of it too. Let's see, still laggy. Hopefully it gets better. Eric says it's coming to me at 144p and keeps lagging, doing the same my phone as my laptop. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And Ruben says he's getting it at 360p. So we'll give it a minute. It might get better. If not, I'll probably end it because I am really tired. We've been going. I got up at 7 a.m. this morning to go to breakfast with the car club, and we've been going ever since. I actually, believe it or not, didn't get heck of a lot of steps in. But we've been doing a lot of driving, so that kind of tires you out too. See if I can give you guys. I'm only up to about 14,700 steps right now. If that's 1,336 calories burned, 7.43 miles, and an average of 3 miles an hour. So definitely not one of my better days, but it happens sometimes. You get busy. Stephen Barber, when was the last time you rebooted your computer? Sometimes if you don't restart for a while, Windows gets an attitude. I had that problem. Last night, I had some updates to do. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably YouTube. Ruben says, I walked 7.6 miles today. Way to go. That is totally awesome. I've been lagging a little bit, to be perfectly honest. I haven't been wanting to go outside as much with the cold weather. I haven't gotten on the scale either for about a week. So it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll get on the scale tomorrow morning and see what it says. I'm a little nervous because I have been eating. Not that I've been eating more calories, but I've been eating more of the bad stuff. Like I've been eating a lot of sweets lately. With the Christmas party, I had a lot of different cakes and pastries and ambrosia salad, which is one of my favorites, absolute favorites. Eric went to 4 thrift stores. Did you find anything? It's been dry as a bone here. I gotta wait till after the new year. I think it'll pick up a little bit more. I'm going to try to get a few more steps, and I will tell you that I have continued with my strength training. My biceps are definitely growing a little bit, though. I hate the saggy skin. That's what happens when you're heavy for a long time. Unfortunately, you'll get some of that saggy skin, but definitely getting harder. I still work out with the 15-pound weights. I try to do 3 reps each day. I only was able to do 2 today, so try to do better the next day. That's the key. You don't want to get discouraged. You may have a bad day. You may not be able to exercise or work out. You may overeat one day, but don't let it get you down. Just tell yourself you're going to do better the next day. Ah, okay. Yeah, don't spill the beans, Eric. Not on my account. He says that will be answered when my vlog is uploaded, which I will watch tonight when I'm done with this live stream. Classic Mobile Home says, I cannot get out today. It is in the 40s here in Texas. Woo! Kind of cold in Texas for this time of year. Maybe you're in the northern section. Ruben said, I went to Journey House thrift store today and no bargains. Same here. The last thing I got at the thrift store was the other day, and it was just a Dell monitor. Though it is kind of unique. I should probably show that on one of the vlogs. Unique in the sense that it has a built-in webcam. I've only ever seen one of those maybe once or twice before, and they were usually way too expensive. 20-inch Dell LCD monitor, circa maybe 2009, 2010. And it's not only does it have a built-in webcam, it's got a built-in hub too. So that might be something that I keep. I'd be really interested to see how good that webcam actually works. Maybe do a full review on it for those of you that are missing my tech-related videos. Stephen Barber says, I never turn off my computer. I let her go to sleep. I like to make sure she's on, but the power light is flashing. LOL. It may drive others nuts. It's peaceful to me. Sleep can do harm, but it works. I know sleep can do harm, but it works. Yeah, it can. If you put your computer to sleep a lot, you'll have to reinstall Windows on a fairly regular basis. I never use sleep mode. This computer stays on, powered on pretty much 24/7. I just turn the monitors off. And this is really the original Windows installation. Is it? No, this is the second one. It came with Windows 8. And when I upgraded to Windows 10, I formatted it and installed Windows 10. That was almost 3 years ago now. And I'm still running on that original installation of Windows 10, and it runs great. Fort Worth, Texas, and Classic Mobile Homes has new videos for me. Awesome. I'll try to watch those as soon as possible. Eric Brunhammer, it is showing about 90 more minutes of editing, then uploaded. I did edit out a nearly half-hour rant about one thrift store. You know, those rants really keep us healthy. There are times that we just have to get things off our chest. You know, life gets us down or we get upset about something. Go rant away. Just don't expect me to watch the whole thing. Excuse me. Getting dry here again. And yes, I did forget my water. I got in here. Hang on a second. Had my water from last night. And yes, I know I'm festive. I'm wearing red cotton shorts, right? Get ready for the Christmas season. You guys like it when I show you vinyl records sometimes. I'm going to show you my absolute favorite album to listen to during Christmas time. And it's this one, Amy Grant's Christmas album. You guys probably know Amy Grant as a pop singer. Well, this was put out in 1983, so the year I was born. You can see Amy Grant right there on the cover. And I love the insert of this. Check this out. Apparently, this is her family's cabin in Tennessee. And they recorded a lot of this while they were there. You can see the portrait right there, if I get a good angle. And this has such classics as Tennessee Christmas, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Priest Dem Konig, or Praise the King, Emmanuel, Little Town of Bethlehem, the Christmas Hymn, which is kind of a medley of a few different songs. Love Has Come, that's a really good one. It goes like, love has come for the world to know what the wise men knew such a long time ago. And I believe that angels sang that hope had begun. And so on and so forth. Sleigh Ride, the Christmas song, you know, chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Heirlooms, A Mighty Fortress, and that's combined with Angels We Have Heard on High. One of my favorite albums from her, period. This, I think, was either her second or third album she ever released. She did her very first one in 1977. I think the second one she did in 1980, that was Age to Age, and then I think this was the Christmas album. But she was still pretty young here, so if you guys ever wondered what Amy Grant looked like when she was young, there you go, right there. If you guys like that, I'll show you guys some more of my record collection. I've amassed probably a collection of about 400 or 500 records over my lifetime, and I still have most of them. Though, unfortunately, I lost about 100 of them to a unfortunate aquarium leak when we lived in an apartment building. I stored my records in a bookcase at a big salt. Well, it wasn't salt water. It was a was it? No, it was a freshwater aquarium, and it developed a leak and leaked down and destroyed a whole bunch of my favorite records. That I don't even like to think about that. Eric said, I had one of those on CD in the 90s. Or was it a cassette? You'd have to tell me. Probably a cassette. I don't even know if they even made a CD of this. They probably did, but if they did, I never saw it. Michael Garner, I spent 2 hours this morning reorganizing my closet. Chipmunks roasting on an open fire and Jack Frost biting off your nose. Little Bob Rivers. I need to pull his album out. That album always makes me laugh every year. Of Bob Rivers. What was the other one? There were a lot of racy ones. There's one that I can't even talk about on here because it's really, really explicit. But suffice to say, you guys can look it up if you want. But Bob Rivers Christmas specials, Bob Rivers Christmas albums, classic, absolutely classic. Don't forget to click that like button. I only got 8 likes so far. I know you guys, I got to keep up on you with that sometimes. If you like it. If you don't like it, you can go ahead and click that dislike button. That's fine. Ruben said, I did find some cameras that transfer from cassette to PC. I don't know if you're talking about cassette or you're talking about things like 8mm or mini DV. If that's the case, most of them use FireWire, and the only way to do that is with a FireWire card. Most modern PCs, actually all modern PCs, don't have FireWire cards, but you can actually get, and I have one in my Dell XPS 8700. It's a PCI Express X1 FireWire card, and Windows 10 does natively have drivers for FireWire, believe it or not. I was shocked. Eric Brunhammer said, by the way, Amy Grant was in the movie I Can Only Imagine. I have seen that movie. I think Michael W. Smith was in that as well, which was a movie I watched right before coming to your house in May. Oh, that's cool. Let me see if I'm right about that. I can only imagine. Da, 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 da. Maybe not. I know that they were both in some movie together. I guess not. Wait a minute. Now, must have been another movie I'm thinking of. I don't know. Ruben said, yes, 8mm. Yeah, same thing. You get yourself a FireWire card, and if you're running Windows 10, you'll be fine. You just have to have a X1 FireWire card. You can put it in the computer, and basically what you do is you open up Windows Movie Maker, and you import the video. But you got to remember, it's not like with solid-state memory, you just copy the files over. You actually have to play back the video and actually has to record it to a file. It's a little bit more complicated, but very rewarding. A lot of my early subscribers love seeing me film with those cameras and camcorders. I haven't done it yet this Christmas, but that's something I may need to consider. All right, Ruben, have a good evening. Michael Garner says, I have a Realtek RTL 8139 in my Dell Inspiron 530S, and Windows 10 has native drivers for it. Yeah, I want to say my card is a generic one, but I think that's the chip that it's using. Might be able to tell here if I open up Device Manager. No, it's not that specific. Sometimes it is in Device Manager, but other times it won't tell you exactly what it is. Looking under controllers. Yeah, I'm still. It is I know it's a Realtek chip on that, and it does a good job. For a X1 card, it's more than sufficient to import 480i or standard definition video, which 90-something% of 8mm camcorders are. You're very, very rare to find an 8mm or a digital 8 that records in high definition. You do have some mini DV camcorders, though. The higher end ones are high definition, believe it or not. Sony made a bunch of them like in the late 2000s. Jeremy Davis, I like to fix everything with a hammer while I scream and yell. Good therapy, no doubt about that. Time for a water break. There we go. Now I can talk again. Eric Brunhammer said the video editor I'm using uses only one core, but it keeps switching between cores. It will peg core 1 for a while, then switch to core 2, then 3, and then 4. Maybe so it doesn't burn them out. I mean, it's rare to burn a CPU out, but it has happened. When I worked at Best Buy, we actually had somebody come in with the Dell Inspiron 530 with a Core 2 quad. It was one they bought new from Best Buy, and believe it or not, they actually burnt out 2 of the cores. I never saw that happen. We ran at the time, what were we running? Was it Prime 95 or, yeah, it was Prime 95. And basically, the first time I ever saw a CPU fail, and that just amazed me. Not saying that they aren't good computers, they are, but it was just shocking that that actually happened. Classic Mobile says, I still take my shots 3 times a day for my diabetes, but with it being cold out, no walking 30 blocks. Okay. Yeah, you gotta listen to your doctor. I am knowledgeable when it comes to diabetes and nutrition, but I'm not a physician, and you need to listen to what your doctor says. But as long as you keep it managed, you should be good. Stephen Barber says, great. Now my printer isn't working. Talk about bad luck. Yeah. I like the way they make everything today. Nothing lasts. Yeah, I don't know why. What video editor are you using, Eric? To only use one core, that's odd because I believe Windows Movie Maker, at the very least, makes use of dual cores, 2 cores, I should say. That's odd. Adam Whitaker, hey Matt, my hard drive has unrecoverable sector count. Do you know how to fix it? There are a couple of things you could try sectors sometimes, but if you have a large amount of uncorrectable sectors and that doesn't work, then you need to replace the hard drive because that just means that the hard drive's starting to fail. Eric says, I'm using Linux Mint on this laptop, so I'm using Kdenlive. I'm not familiar with it. That's interesting because I know a few other people that edit YouTube videos with editing YouTube videos. Personally, I still like using Windows Movie Maker. I've tried a lot of the other ones, and they don't hold up. I mean, Windows Movie Maker, for me, because I don't do a large amount of editing, gets the job done. Classic Mobile said, my new camera has good video, but my sound stinks. I kind of noticed that if it was from one of your recent videos, The only thing I can suggest is maybe getting some, if it has that feature, getting an external microphone. Some cameras have the ability for you to plug in an external mic. Unfortunately, there isn't really much more you can do other than that. All right, so Eric Brunhammer doesn't want to use Windows Movie Maker because he doesn't want to use Windows. Well, I can't really help you there. So, will it run under Wine? I know that you can run some applications in Linux using Wine, but I'm not sure. 22 watchers and 10 likes. That is awesome. It's amazing. I love how we get on our different tangents. We start talking about cars, but then we inevitably go to computers or health and fitness. But hey, that's the way it is, right? So, from what Eric's telling me, he's making me feel a little more confident about my potential purchase here. And I don't want you guys to think, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see this LeSabre. Matt's going to show it to us as soon as he gets it. It's by no means definite yet. And I'm still going to be doing some searching. As a matter of fact, when this live stream's over, I'm planning on perusing Craigslist again because I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing and getting the best bang for my buck. That is interesting. Michael Gardner says, what is your opinion on the Dell Quiet Key as well as the Dell AT101W? Well, I don't have a lot of experience with the AT101W, but I do with the Dell Quiet Key. If it's an older one, like a mid to late 90s one, they are really nice keyboards. I actually have 4 or 5 of them sitting in my closet, brand new. And even though they don't have mechanical keys. In other words, they don't use something like out switches. They're still very nice to type on. And I like the layout of the keyboard. Most modern keyboards, including my Logitech MX 5000, the rise on the keys, you look at that, you see how little rise there are on those keys. It makes it very hard to type, especially with somebody like me that has what we call sausage fingers. The older keyboards had the taller keys, and they were just much more pleasant to type on. Adam says, the hard drive has 1 uncorrectable sector count. Would it be okay to be used? Oh, yeah. 1 is fine. 1 is actually normal, believe it or not. But I would keep checking on it. If you start seeing more and more uncorrectable sectors, then you may want to look at replacing it. But if it's just 1, let it go for now. But back up your data. Always back up your data. I don't care if your hard drive is brand new in perfect condition. Back up your data. Murphy's Law happens, and it happens often. Stephen Barber says, okay, printer works, had to restart computer. As for the testing with diabetes, I have to do it 4 times a day. Soon I will only have to do it once a day because I'm getting a CGM. Look it up. Yeah, I remember you talked about that. That's like one of those meters, I think, that allows you to test it like without using the strips. I don't know for sure because I haven't needed to test in a while, but you know, they've made great strides in diabetes research, and I really hope they find a cure because that's hit my family, and it's just really sad. It's not something that I would ever wish, even on my worst enemy, because you have to be so careful with your diet. I mean, it's a bummer. It really is. Eric says, I think that was one of the sweet spot years. You guess you're talking about the LeSabre. I think the 05 to 2010 3.8s had intake issues. Yeah, so did the 98s, 97, 98s. But I can't really think of any major problems with that year of them. And I love the way it rides. I tell you, my old LeSabre was a really fun vehicle to drive. I loved it. Good stereo. This one has the older stereo that doesn't have the RDS or the satellite radio capability. I don't really care about that, but it does have the CD and cassette. Hey, party bonus, right? Pradkins, no snow here. I'm assuming that's what you meant by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or so snowflakes. Maybe late Sunday, early Monday, but as of right now, we do not have any snow. It's just going to be some rain. It's going to be a little too warm, so Well, no snow yet. I miss my snow. I like it. I like seeing it when we're up north. I really do miss it. Classic Mobile Homes. Okay, my wife says to tell her Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Well, I'll tell you both. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And that goes for everybody out there. Tis the season for enjoyment, merriment. But we always have to remember Jesus Christ is the true reason for the season. Not Santa Claus, not presents, even though they're fun. Presents are great. I love getting presents. I love giving presents. That's not what the true meaning of this season is. Eric says we're still showing no snow for now. Hopefully it stays that way. I know, unless you really want it. I mean, if you don't have to travel in it, that's great. But traveling in snow is never fun, at least not to me. Stephen Barber says, kind of the reason for once a day is to celebrate the CGM to make sure it's getting the right numbers. I'm getting the Dexcom G5. I can't wait for the cure, as I love snow. LOL. Okay, yeah. So I guess once they get it straight, you don't even need to test at all. The meter will just like let you know instantly what your blood glucose level is, and that's really nice because it's not fun to test. I mean, I used to have to do it 2 or 3 times a day, and definitely put a crimp in my style. You get out there and you're dating, and you're on a date and like, oh, I'm sorry, honey, I gotta go to the bathroom and test my blood sugar. That's really cool. It actually goes right to your smartphone. That's very convenient. I actually didn't know that. Hey, learn something new every day. Eric wants to do donuts with the S10. I'd like to see that. I bet you would do it too. And your S10's not. I don't think your S10's 4-wheel drive either, right? I mean, either way, if you get on a good patch of ice, you could do some serious donuts. That's definitely a possibility. That is a very good point. Michael Gardner says, although there is no proof that Jesus was born in December, as far as Christianity is concerned, he was. Yes and no. It's symbolic. It's a representation of Jesus Christ's birth. Was he born in December? Probably not. As a matter of fact, there's evidence to the contrary. There's more evidence that suggests he was born during the summertime versus Christmas. If you believe what they tell you, and I heard this in the Big Bang Theory, what they're actually doing, and this is true from what I understand, they were trying to compete with the pagan holiday Saturnalia, which did occur in December. So Christians were trying to have an alternative to that pagan holiday, and I believe that's why we actually celebrate it in December. But you're right. The birthday is more likely was sometime in the summer. But again, it's just a representation. The actual date of his birth is a moot point. We're celebrating his birth, and that's more than enough. Eric Brunhammer, what kind of donuts? Krispy Kreme filled? If it was me, I'd put some Dunkin' Donuts filled. Actually, you know what? I'm not a big Krispy Kreme fan, so you can put some of those under there and maybe get you a little bit more traction. The S10 is not 4x4, but with the 342 1 gears with a true posi. Wow, you actually got a true posi in that thing. That thing will rip up some serious donuts in the snow, no doubt. No doubt. You should definitely have Rebecca film that. That's funny. Christ Mass is a Catholic origin. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. When I was younger, I was actually baptized Catholic, but we're Protestant now. But yeah, I remember going to Mass. My grandmother had Mass, always had Mass on Christmas, and I think Eve and Day, if I'm not mistaken. And Even in our church, we have a Christmas Eve service, a candlelight service. Now, we don't do Christmas Day because we believe Christmas Day is meant to be spent with the family. But we do have Christmas Eve services. And it's actually a candlelit service. Now, in recent years, we've been using those LED candles. Before, we actually used real candles, but the problem was the kids wouldn't hold them straight up, and they were spilling wax all over the pews, and it got so bad that they actually had to replace the pews one year. So kind of makes sense, but I do kind of miss the original real candles in a way. Yes, Stephen, I have watched both Sister Acts. I actually prefer the first one over the second one, but they're both good movies. Max O'Neill's here, but can't stay. That's all right. I'll hopefully catch you on the next one. What? Evan said we might have descended from the ancient aliens, the Anunnaki, as described by the Sumerians. I don't believe that. You guys know what my beliefs are, but it's interesting. It's interesting to ponder. Yeah, everybody's going to those LED candles. It's a lot safer, probably a lot less of an insurance risk, that's for sure. Adam says, someone gave me a Western Digital 160 gigabyte. It had hard drive, one uncorrectable sector count. Yeah, as long as it's just one, you're fine. You're fine. Oh, yes, by Matt. I think you should get a 2010 to 2012 Chevy Sonic. I love those cars. Yeah, they're nice cars, but they're out of my price range. I got to remember, I'm looking in the sub $2,000 category, and in that category, there's not a lot of options. Yeah, a lot of whoopee in the movies. Yeah, that's for sure. A little too much for my taste, at least now. Jonathan Grindle, Fred Claus is my favorite modern Christmas movie. I can't. Oh, okay, yeah. I just can't stand Vince Vaughn. I'm sorry. There's something about him. He was okay in The Lost World, Jurassic Park, but there's just those certain actors that you just don't like, and you don't really have a reason why. Well, he's one of them. I'm not saying he might not be a cool guy in real life. I mean, he might be. It's just something that turns me off about him. Eric says, I do miss the times when Whoopi wasn't a total liberal nut job, LOL. Yeah, you got where I was going with that. I loved her early stuff. I loved her in Sister Act. I loved her in Star Trek. I thought that Guinan character was perfect for her. I mean, wow. Wow. I mean, she really did a good job there, but I just can't stomach it. I wish the actors would stick to acting and stay out of politics. They'd be doing the entire world a favor. And yes, I realize we're in such a fragile political state now that they probably feel like they have no other option. You do. You absolutely do. If you're an actor, stick to acting. Don't go out there, spew off political views. Either way, I'm talking about left or right. It goes both ways. Just stick to acting. That way you don't have to hurt people's feelings. I mean, that's just my 2 cents, but that's really the way I feel about it. Michael Gardner says, I have never liked the ancient aliens theory. If aliens built the Great Pyramids of Giza, then why is there an error in the alignments? That is true. And a lot of people don't know this because they thought it was done by aliens because they couldn't figure out how they were built by humans back then because they didn't think that we had the technology to do it. Well, if you ever watch the History Channel, they actually did a show similar to Mythbusters. I think they actually did an episode of Mythbusters as well, tackling the subject. And they proved that even though it would have been very difficult to build them back then, it was doable, especially using winches and the inclined planes. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up because it was possible. And you're right. If aliens came down and built those, there are imperfections. They are most definitely not perfect. As a matter of fact, some of those pyramids are starting to have some structural problems due to those imperfections. Eric Brunhammer. I like Vince Vaughn as far as that he is a registered libertarian conservative, and I like him in a few movies, but I don't like most of his stuff. Yeah, and he always looks like he needs to sleep. He's got those what they call tired eyes, like, oh, I need to take a nap. And that's the look. I'm not making fun of the man. I mean, that's just an observation. There's something about him I don't like. I'm sorry, and I don't say that about a lot of people. But I don't know. Let's move on. I don't like talking about that. You should read the Orion Mystery by Robert Bavall. I should. I have a hard time reading anything. I am ADD major, and for me to sit down and read something, it's just really hard. I used to be able to a lot. I mean, I used to read a lot when I was younger. I could read a book or two a month, but now I'm getting that looked at though, because I think there might be something I could get on that might help me concentrate more. Interesting. Jonathan said some DDR4 machines can run Windows 7, but not Windows 10. Never heard that. I've never heard of memory affecting what operating system you could run. I mean, I guess there are little quirks like that in anything. I do remember back in the XP era when they were switching from 2000 ME to XP, certain people couldn't upgrade XP because their chipset wasn't supported. Stranger things have happened. Chet Boulay says Vince Vaughn has no acting range. He is a very lazy comedic actor. We like to call it deadpan. Bob Newhart was kind of the same way, and can't really step out of that. Good take, Matt. Thank you. And yeah, you too. I mean, I agree there isn't a big range there, and it is called deadpan. It is a comedy form in and of itself. Go ahead and watch the old episodes of the Bob Newhart show, Newhart. I guess Jerry Seinfeld, to a lesser extent, could be called deadpan. It's not one of my favorite art forms, forms of comedy, that is. Adam Whitaker, Crystal Disk Info, hard disk drive, uncorruptible sector count. Crystal Disk Info is a very conservative program. If it finds any little thing wrong with the hard drive, it'll report it. HD Tune is a little bit more liberal in the way it reports things. Again, I think you're fine. I would just stick with the hard drive as is for now. And that's the last I'm going to talk about it. Eric says it was a myth that you wouldn't be able to run older versions of Windows on the 6th gen or higher, but again, it was a myth. Okay. I can't confirm or deny that because I've never tried it. If I haven't actually tried something for myself, then I won't confirm or deny it. Yeah, Seinfeld is a funny show. I've probably seen every episode of Seinfeld at least 2 or 3 times. Few of my favorite episodes, The Soup Nazi, and what was the other one? I know The Soup Nazi is my absolute favorite episode. I don't know the name of it, but it was the one where George had to give out his ATM card pin because the building was on fire and the guy had to get out and the ATM wouldn't give him his card back. I don't know the name of that episode, but that was one of my favorite ones too. And that was actually a later season episode. I think that was like season 7 or 8 episode. Lady LASIK Mobile Home loves your videos too. Well, thank you very much. That always warms my heart. I'm glad that people like what I'm doing. The one with the red light that Kramer had. Oh, yeah, the chicken restaurant. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That was a good one, too. Really funny show, honestly. Do you use Hiron's Boot Windows PE edition? No, no, never have. Evan Kyoke, the last network comedy I liked was How I Met Your Mother. A lot of people say they like that, but that's a hard one to follow. If you that's one of the shows that you really need to see from beginning to end. If you catch it in the middle like I did, you don't know what the heck's going on. But it was still a good show. I'll give it that. It was a good show. Was Kramer in the shower in the episode? I honestly don't remember every detail about that one. I do remember that they changed the set after the first season. A lot of shows do that, believe it or not. After the first season, they want to make sure it'll last. So after the first season and they get a bigger budget for season two, they'll actually improve the set. They did that with a lot of shows. Clarissa Explains It All back on Nickelodeon. The big one I can think of is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The first season, they actually reused a set from a few episodes of, I think it was The Facts of Life. They used that for the first season, and then when they knew the show was going to last for season two, they actually built a whole new set. Cheers, where everybody knows your name. Yeah, that's another good one. All right, tubers, I am done. I am getting tired. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay